Hey, what is up guys, and welcome to another One Punch Man LSSR review video. So as everyone expected, Silver Fang, or Bang, is released as the new hero backup stick unit. Overall, he's my fourth favorite character in all of One Punch Man, right behind Garou and Watchdog Man, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering if he's worth using or investing into. So hopefully with today's review, I'll be able to answer all of those questions. But before we begin, I of course would like to give a shout out to all the members who have joined my channel. Thank you so much for joining and becoming a member. These character reviews do take a lot of time and effort, so your support greatly motivates me to continue and improve my content. Alright, let's begin. First, let's go over his pros and cons. Starting off with the pros. Silver Fang is able to increase his entire team's block rate due to his passive, and this is for the first 2 rounds of the battle. And he's also able to generate tenacity shields for his entire team on his passive. This means he does not require any energy to actually generate the shields, unlike Tank Top Master. And this is by far the most reliable way to generate 2 energy for the Zombie Man core with the tenacity shields. And he does not require a lot of investment. He's a low budget character. I'd say get him to 2 to 3 star limit break is good enough. And the reason why you want to get him to 3 star is mostly for the extra HP and block rate, so he just doesn't explode completely in PvP. And of course, because of his easy to access tenacity shield and his internal injury on his ultimate, he slots really well into the current Zombie Man core. Next, let's go over his cons. He neither does or soaks damage well. This means he can't function as a DPS or a tank. Instead, he is considered somewhat as a support. And of course, he's locked behind a paywall. You have to buy the hero backup stick in order to obtain him. And because he's on the hero backup stick, we miss out on his banner, minus 36 black tickets once again. Next, there are alternative tenacity shield generators available at the moment. The most common being Tank Top Master, of course, and Alloy if you have Alloy. And eventually he's going to get power crept by future support grapplers. Some examples include Watchdog Man, SSRMI Mask, and of course his brother, Bomb, which will be the future core after Giro Giro. And last, unfortunately for Silver Fang, he has a very short meta lifespan due to his late release. In fact, I would say his meta will probably last less than a month if Giro Giro is the next LSSR, or maybe a little over a month if Giro does not come out at the end of this month. So in my opinion, Moonton timed his release rather poorly, but then again, what else is new with Moonton? Alright, next let's go over his skills, starting off with his basic attack. He deals 120% of his attack to a single target and enters the Berserk state for 1 round. This increases his damage by 30%. And of course for his passive, at the start of the battle, adds 30% block rate for all your team for 2 rounds. When one of your characters triggers block, obtain tenacity, which will absorb 7% of own HP 3 times each round. So for the beginning part of his passive, it is worded the exact same way as Sky King and Super Alloy Darkshine's passive. This means he does not need to be alive for his first part of the passive to actually work. The second part, however, I am not 100% sure. I believe he needs to be alive in order for the tenacity shields to be generated based on my previous experience fighting Silver Fang. And the tenacity shield is actually based off his ally's HP and not his own. And of course, for his extreme passive, you require 5-star limit break, and his uber passive will require 5-star awakening, as well as a 3-star keepsake. Unfortunately, I never owned Silver Fang on the Southeast Asia server, so I was unable to find any info on his extreme passive and uber passive. Either way, it is definitely not worth investing him to 5-star limit break or awakening for either of those passives. Okay, next we take a look at his ultimates. For his regular ultimate, he attacks each enemy in a column with 5 consecutive strikes for 150% of his attack, and has 100% to inflict internal injury on the target. When attacked, they will take internal injury equal to 140% of Silver Fang's attack as damage. Of course, the effect will disappear like all other internal injury effects. And then for his Ultra Ultimate, he attacks each enemy in a column for 5 strikes as well, and deals 190% of his attack as damage, 100% to inflict internal injury on the target, and the internal injury damage goes up to 160% of Silver Fang's attack. And of course, if you want his Ultra Ultimate, it requires a 3-star keepsake. All I can say is don't bother with his Ultra Ultimate. He doesn't deal enough damage as a DPS in order to warrant it, so it's definitely not worth the investment. Next, let's go over his build. For his gears, you want suit set or just any broken set if you cannot form a good suit set. And he's going to want HP block rate on his chest piece and 3 HP percents. Alternatively, you can do 4 HP percents as his gear as well. And for his talent sigils, which I don't recommend unlocking by the way, but if you guys insist, for his damage sigils, you can go Ruthless and Sharp Sword. For Ruthless, you'll get bonus damage on internal injury, or charge damage, followed up with flat attack and hit percent at the later levels. Sharp Sword, you get flat attack, flat HP, and attack percent at the later levels. And for his support sigils, you want either Chaos, Bastion, or Vitality. Chaos will give you ultimate damage reduction percent, flat defense, and block percentage at the later levels. Bastion will reduce the crit rate of your opponent, as well as give you flat HP and ultimate damage percent reduction at the later levels. And last, for Vitality, you get flat HP, flat attack, and HP percent at the later levels. Alright, next we're going to go over the tenacity options available as of right now. We currently have Silver Fang, Tank Top Master, and Super Alloy Darkshine. The text highlighted in green are the pros of each SSR, and then the text highlighted in red are the cons or downsides. Let's start with Silver Fang. He's a low budget unit. Like I said before, you only need to get him the 2 to 3 star and he doesn't really need much investment other than that. And of course, he's a no energy tenacity shield generator, and he generates the shield for his entire team. Unfortunately, he's very frail, at least for a grappler. You will often find situations where your Silver Fang just ends up dying to some random AoE just because he is unable to take damage, unlike the other grapplers such as Tank Top and Super Alloy Darkshine. On top of that, the tenacity shield he generates for his team is rather weak because it scales off your teammates' HP rather than his own. So if you're trying to protect one of your damage dealers, which you have mostly attack gear on, the tenacity shield will be based off of their own HP and it's only 7%. So the shield will be rather weak and fairly pointless in certain situations. And last, he has a very short meta span. Basically, by the time Gyro Core comes out, he'll be almost irrelevant. Okay, next let's talk about Tank Top Master. He is a very durable grappler, probably one of the tankiest grapplers out there as of right now. And he has a very strong tenacity shield. In fact, he's able to generate the strongest shield in the game as of right now. And of course, he's very easy to limit break, mostly because you're able to purchase Tank Top Master's shards through the arena shop, as well as pull him from the epic recruits. And for his cons, of course, he requires very high investment. He needs a lot of HP and a lot of speed on his gears, as well as being limit broken to 5 star. And of course, his tenacity shield is on his ultimate. This requires you to spend 2 energy in order to generate his shield, and this can easily be countered by energy seal, such as King. Next, let's go over my boy Super Alloy Darkshine. He's a low to mid budget unit. Roughly about 3 to 4 star limit break and some HP gear investment is good enough for Alloy. And he's also another durable grappler. In fact, if equally invested, I would say Alloy is probably the tankiest grappler in the game as of right now. And he also does not require any energy in order to generate his tenacity shield. Of course, this is only for himself. Which leads me to his first con, is that his tenacity shield is only for himself. He doesn't provide any shields for his team. So unfortunately, there is not much utility in that front. And the biggest con of Alloy, of course, is in capital letters. Garou literally completely breaks this character and ruins his day. And this is because Alloy will not be able to generate 2 energy for the Zombie Man core if Garou actually breaks his tenacity shield with his follow-up attack. Alright, moving on. So to sum things up, Bang or Silver Fang is a very useful unit currently in the Zombie Man meta, mostly because of his easy access to tenacity shields. But unfortunately, he will become pretty much completely irrelevant in the next meta, which is the Gyro core. And next, of course, he does not require much investment. You only need to limit break your Silver Fang to 2 to 3 stars, and at most, I'd say get his exclusive badge to 2 star. Do not go any further than that. And of course, for his talent pages, you only want to open up to page 2. Definitely not talent page 3, as that will require too much vitality and investment. And his sigil slots, I would not recommend opening at all. Your Star Ascension cards are better invested elsewhere on your main units, rather than a support unit like Silver Fang. And because of this, his 3-star keepsake is not needed, unless you plan on going Ultra Ryūsui Gansai-Ken. Okay, that was pretty cringe, I'm not gonna lie. Oh man, but yeah, anyways, if Silver Fang is not your favorite character, I would definitely recommend just skipping his keepsake. And finally, he's eventually replaced with stronger and more relevant LSSRs, examples being Watchdog Man, SSR My Mask, Bomb, and even Hellfire. Okay guys, well that's gonna be it for this One Punch Man video. If you have any questions or have anything to add, please leave them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, or join if you wish to support this channel even further. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next One Punch Man video. Peace!